Let me check on this other end. Make sure we good. Yeah, we good.
Yeah, you live, you live.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. All right. First I want to say ETM Hotep, Dua Duau, Dua Aku, Dua Netcher, Fatmu Alafie, Fatmu Iwa, Pele, Majuba Iba E, Ilakba, Majuba Iba E, Ilakba, Majuba Iba E, Egungun. I mean Majuba Iba E Egungun, Majuba Iba E, Majuba Iba E Egungun, Egungun Kiki, Egungun, Ren E Kofi, Paisai. Welcome back to the Mossi Warrior Clan YouTube channel. I am your Mossi brother Kofi Paisai. Um, I got two brothers on the panel. Before we get ready to get started, if any of y'all got any words before I jump into the presentation.
Peace to the panel members and peace to the class. I hope y'all enjoy the show. Then tune in later. We got a nice lineup today, right, Kofi?
Yes, indeed. Yes,
All right,
indeed.
let's get it.
You got anything, Boston?
Uh, Peace to the audience, peace to the panel. Interested to see how these shows is gonna turn out today.
Yeah. Y'all don't mind, man. Share the show for me, man. Like I say, I'm finna get ready to jump into it, man, 'cause we got a whole lot going on today. So let me share my screen. All right. Today's presentation is called Odinani, uh, by your brother Kofi Piesie. Um, we're gonna get it in. Odinani is the way of life, or it is the way of their ancestors, or it is their traditional religion, the Odinani. All right, I always had to put a disclaimer out here before I get started. I am not a teacher, but merely a student sharing information, and that information provided is for the educational purpose only. And if you are in doubt, do the research and have it verified by someone qualified. I reserve the right to change the focus of this presentation to shut down. Hey, y'all calm down a little bit. Hold on, y'all. Y'all gonna have to calm down. I'm live now. Y'all gotta stop being too loud. Sorry about that. But the focus of this presentation is to shut down, sell, or exchange the terms are used at my own discretion. All trademark, design rights, copyrights, registered names, mottos, logos, avatars, or sigmas, and marks used or cited by this website are the property of their respective owners. I reserve the right to add information as it comes available and adapt changes, improve information as it comes available in the future. Inputs wanted, changes, additions, or encouraged. They're gonna be hard. I'm gonna go get my bill. I had to come back in and so far already. Be quiet. I'm live. All right, this is my saying, and they let me put this up here yesterday. I had messed up everything yesterday. I don't know. I didn't have as I learned. I don't know what that was I had up there. But as I learn, we all learn. People know that follow me. This is my saying. I believe in this saying as we continue to learn and expand our mind on whatever it may be. I think it is vital for us to pass that information, if it's the right information, pass that information on. I think this is the only way we'll be able to grow as we learn things, we pass things down that we learn with the proper methodology. This is my other saying, let's get this culture. All right. There are several theories concerning the etymology of the word Igbo, wrongly spelled Igbo by the British colonists. 18th century text has the word as Hebo or Igbo, which was thought to be a corruption of Hebrew. Igbo is commonly presumed to mean the people. The root bo is judged to be a Sardonic origin. Some scholars think that the word is derived from the verb jibo, or therefore has connotations of protect, to shelter, or to prevent. Hence, the notion of protected people or a community of peace, according to the theorists, it may also be traced to the Igala, among whom the Agnigbo is the word for slave, only means people. So the word, it's so much things going around. Igbo people are Jews, Igbo people are Hebrews, Igbo people are Christians, and etc. Some say that the Igbos are Jews who migrated out of Egypt and went into West Africa and placed themselves in Nigeria, or migrated into Nigeria. There are others saying that they have already always been in Nigeria. Another place say that they come from another era that migrated into Nigeria according to the Proto uh, Kawa tribe, or the Kawa languages, etc. But the lifestyle or the culture is not matching up if they uh, come from that language follow. Um, but we know that the traditional or the original tradition or the way of life or the way of their ancestors is called Odinani. So this is their traditional system that they practiced before any colonization, before they encountering any other group of people. The Igbo speaking people can be divided into 5 geographical substructures. Remember this. Now they are in Nigeria, in these places that they call Igbo land, but they are divided into 5 geographical substructures. And I want to get this out the way before we go into the Odinani, uh, 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 us breaking down the Odinani spiritual system. Northern Igbo, Southern Igbo, Western Igbo, Eastern Igbo, and Northeast Igbo. Each of these 5 can be further divided into subgroups based on a specific location and name. The Northern, or the Anisha Igbo, are divided into Nira slash Aqua, or the Anisha, and Aqua, or the Igu of Nisuka, Udu, Aku, and again, excuse me if I'm mispronouncing these words. I'm trying to pronounce them at the best of my ability. And the Akwi, and those of the Atisha town. The Southerns, or Ariri Igbos, are divided into the Isaama of Akiwi, Olu, and Ori of Arata Igreri, or Oriri, or Ahada. Ooh, I know I'm pronouncing these words wrong. The Ahu are the Nagwa of the Aba of the Bini, and the Usu items of the Bindi of Agui. The Western Igbo, Nidi Anu, as they like to call themselves, are divided into Northern Ika of Agwisha, Uke, and Agbor. The Southern Ika, or Kawel of Caldwell, and the riverine of Agwashi, Uku, on Isha, Ariri, and Ohada. Ooh. These easters or cross rivers Igbos are divided into the Ada, or Ida, or Afipo, or Aban, or Hafa, of Bindi, of Agui, and the Ora of Ora. The northern East Igbo included the Ogwo Uku of Abi Kaliki or Afipuku. And again, excuse me for the mispronunciation of these words. But the Igbo people are divided in the five geographical base subcultures. So there are subcultures within there. You got the northern Igbo, which goes by certain names and in certain regions. Southern Igbo, the Western Igbo, Eastern Igbo, and the Northern Igbo. So I just gave you the names and the places these Igbo people reside in. But remember that these Igbo people are divided into five geographical based subgroups. The Igbos have a traditional belief system, which is the sum total of what they believe in, how they live their life, and their collective behaviors and attitudes toward life. It is by this belief and culture that the Igbos are identified among the community of the ethnic group of all over the world. The Igbo, however, consists of both a language and a group of speak these languages. The people were collectively together to preserve their culture and their traditions. Igbos is one of the largest ethnic groups in Nigeria. And we know I think there's about 250 ethnic groups uh, in Nigeria, if I'm not mistaken. And they are one of the most religious tribes in Nigeria. Their traditional religion is known as, my goodness, as Odinani. I tried to go back and reread this so I can make sure I ain't have no misspelling the words. But this is the capital I. But the religion is known as Odinani. Now, Odinani, Igbo Odinani, comprised of traditional religious practice and cultural beliefs of the Igbo people. Odinani has a monotheistic and pantheistic attributes, having a single God as a source of all things. Although the pantheon of the spirits exist, these are lesser spirits prevalent in Odinani, especially serving as the elements of Chi-Inki or Chukwu, the supreme being of or high God. Chi-Inki is a compound word compassing the concept of Chi, the divine masculine force, and Na-Iki, the creative and decisive feminine force. Hold on. All right. The concept of Chukwu, the supreme chi, was largely propagated by the Ara Igbo, and these Ara Igbo are from eastern Nigeria. Again, they are broke up. The Igbo are broke up in geographical substructures, five substructures: eastern, western, uh, Southern, and etc. So the Ara Igbo are from Eastern Igbo land, who wield much spiritual force over the Eastern Niger Delta in the 18th century due to their operating of the Ibini Pabi oracle. Beliefs, Odinani, could loosely be described as a monotheistic or pantheistic faith with a strong central spiritual force at its head, which all things are believed to sprung from. However, the contextual diversity of the system may encompass theistic perspectives that relies on the different beliefs of the religion. That's why I told you to pay attention to the different substructures, the five different substructures of these uh, different Igbo lands. Chukwu, as the central deity, is classified among as the Ndimau, invisible being category of the ontological beings, which is included Ela, the divine feminine earth force. So Chukwu has a masculine principle and he has a feminine principle. And we're going to get into that. Allah, the divine feminine earth force. Chi, the personal deity. We're going to get into the personal deity. What is the personal deity? What is the chi in Daichi? Which we're going to get into that. They also, what with ancestor veneration, we know particularly most ATRs, most Africans' way of life. Uh, they have ancestor veneration. They have a higher god. They have lesser gods, and etc. The Igbo people have a lot of different deities. They have a higher god who has a masculine and a feminine principle, which we're going to get in when we talk about Allah. And we have Chi, which is a personal deity, which is ascribed by Chukwu, which we're going to get into. You have the Indichi, which they also in the way of life where they venerate and honor their ancestors. They have the lesser deities, the Elusis, which we're going to get into the Elusis. Then they have some deities up under the lesser deities, the Elusis, which you have the minor spirits, which we're going to get into those as well. The other classes of beings are under the Indi Mimado, visible beings, which are Anu, animals, and Osis, vegetables, and the final class, Uro, which consists of element minerals of an inanimated being. Chukwu, as a creator, also very things visible and invisible, and the source of lesser deities is also referred to as Chi-Inki. Chukwu is the generalist and is reached through various spiritual forces, mainly under the spirit class of the Elusives, who are incarnations of the higher God. And Elusives are again are the lesser deities. We know when we go to Kemet, we talk about the Netrus, which are the lesser deities. When we go to Nigeria, when we deal with the Yoruba people, we know them as the Orishas. When we talk about the Akan tradition of Akum, we talk about the Obuzans. When we talk about the Togo and Benin tradition of the lesser deities, we're talking about the Voodoo. We go to Haiti, we're talking about the Luau. These are the lesser deities, and etc., etc. And for the Igbo, they are the elusive, who are incarnations of the high God. No sacrifice, however, are given to Chukwu, and no shrines and altars are erected for him. If the Arusis is assigned to an individual, it becomes a chi, a personal deity. We see this in the Yoruba culture as well when we deal with Ifa. Those Orishas assigned when we deal with the cosmology of the Yoruba people and how these different Orishas assigned uh, to the person who actually um, um, gets everything sets up uh, in the Oleron becomes a chi. A personal chi is a personal spirit of a person in Muma. The Igbo culture, it is this spirit which determines your destiny. However, yes, and you select in the Ifa culture, when you're in the Oleron, you select your destiny as well. Hence the saying, Oyi Kiwi Chi Ya Iwi, meaning if a person agrees to a thing, his spirit agrees also. Uh, Brother, I can't even pronounce your name. And again, I said earlier, I'm not good with uh um pronouncing the names. So excuse me if I'm not pronouncing the names uh correctly. Culturally, people are seen, and just because I pronounce something incorrectly does not mean I do not know what I'm talking about or what it means. Okay. Culturally, people are seen as a creator or makers of their own destiny. The breath of life, it is in the heart. Obi Chi refers to the light and the day in contrast to the dark. The universal tree indirectly in charge of everything is Chukwu, who is the supreme being that is beyond the limits of time and space. Chukwu name is compound of the word chi and ukwu, great in size, supreme. Chi is believed to be a spiritual connection between the individual and the high God, and is detached a trajectory of a person's spiritual journey on earth. Each chi is a personal and is a communion with the inseparable form of inseparable from the universe chi of all things. The high god Chukwu is believed to assign chi before and at the time of the individual birth, as I stated earlier. It is the guardian spirit providing care, guardianship, and providence in this respect. The Dabo, and I may be pronouncing the diviner name wrong, can identify a person chi through divination, Afa, and in the Yoruba it is the Ifa, and advise adherents of ways to placate it. Chukwu is also referred to as Chi Inki, which is a compound of the word Chi, the divine masculine force, and Iki, the creative and divisive feminine force. Iki came out of the hands of Chi, but are considered one. Chi created the world, while Iki divided it, incorporating a divisive trickster energy that introduced death and suffering. Chi Inki is also interpreted as Chi Niki, Chi Niki, Chi the creative, or Chi Ni Iki. Chi the creative mother, Iki is one ancestral guarding spirit. Chi Ni Iki, Chi Niki or Chukwu is high up away at the peripheral of human life and remains a mystery to the people. Household usually contain a chi shrine which could be focused on a tree. Deities, Chukwu, incarnation, and ministers in the world, Uwa, are the elusives, the supernatural forces that regulate human life. Uh, this elusives again are the lesser deities in the Odinani culture. Again, you have the supreme deity, then you have the lesser deities, but in the Odinani tradition of the Igbo, again, you have the higher deity, you have the lesser deities, and you have minor deities that's up under the lesser deities, supernatural forces that regulate human life. I'm going to read that again. Are the elusive supernatural forces that regulate human life. The Southern Igbo dialect, especially Agbara, is the term for these forces. The Alusis are regarded as channels of Chukwu. The Alusi are also known as Arushis, Anusis, or Arusis, in different dialects, all spring from Allah, the earth spirit who embodies the working of the world. There are lesser elusives and Odinani, each of whom are responsible for a specific aspect of nature or abstract concept. Specific aspects of nature or abstract concepts. According to the Igbo belief, these lesser elusives or elements of Chukwu have their own specific purpose. Elusive manifest the natural elements and their shrines are usually found in forests. And I'm gonna show you some of those, in which they are based around specific trees. At shrines, Ihu Imul are an object such as hung pieces of cloth or a group of statues are placed on the elusive groups of trees to focus worship. Deities are described as hot and often Capricorn such much of the public approach shrines cautiously and are advised to avoid them at most times. Priests are entrusted in the maintenance of most shrines. Many of these shrines are by the roadside in rural areas, which they are. Tender palm fronds symbolizes spiritual powers or objects that are sacralization. Shrines are condoned off with omo to caution the public of the deity presence. Larger clay models in honor of an elusive are exist around forests and rivers. Other elusive figures may be found in and around people homes and the shrines of the Dabble. Much of these are related to the personal chi, culture, and ancestral worship. Lesser spirits known as the Akbara or the Elusives operate below the high god Chi Niki and are part of him divided by genders in his mind. See, I got that right, brother. I said that one right. Chi ni ki. Chi Niki. These spirits represent natural forces. The Agbaras are a divine force manifested as a separate Alusi in the Igbo pantheon. So the Alusis are nothing but uh, forces in nature, a concept of the eye of the sun or God. Anya Anhu exists as a feminine solar deity which forms a part of the solar veneration in the Nura Igbo of northern Igbo. Alusis are meditated by the Dabo and other priests whom do not contact the high God directly. Thoroughly, Alpha divination, the law and demands of the Alusis are communicated to the living. Alusis are venerated in community shrines around roadsides and forests, as I stated in previous slides, while smaller shrines are located in the household for ancestral veneration. And we're going to get into the ancestral veneration according to the Igbo way of life called Odinani. Deceased ancestors live in the spirit world where they can be contacted. Below, the Lucis are the minor or more general spirits known as the Imua, and I may be pronouncing that wrong, so excuse me for the mispronunciation of this word. Loosely defined by their perceived malevolent or benign nature. These minor spirits are not venerated and are sometimes considered the lost souls of the dead. Now, here are some of the elusive figures that I talked about, or the elusive shrines that they erect in forests, near trees, and near the roads. Here are one elusive figure. Here is another elusive figure here with the priests. The priests are the one that take care of these shrines. The elusive shrine here. Another elusive figure here. Another one. Another one. Here's another elusive figure erected by a tree with one of the priests. All right, the Imual, which are the minor deities that are up under the up under the lesser deities who are called the Elusives. It is a broad class of minor spirits or divinities manifested in a natural element under the class of elders, divinities with major cults. Mawal is the spirit of the ancestors who lived, died, and moved on to the great unknown, the other side of the realm. I'll read that again. The Mawal is the spirit of the ancestors. So the minor spirits under the lesser spirits, the Olusis, are the spirits of the ancestors, those who lived, died, and moved on to be great or unknown to the other side of the realm. Hence, the Madu is the human beings must die to become a immoral, a spiritual being. If a man was good while alive, upon his departure, he could become an Inchi or a Nana Mua for the female, and hollow ancestor spirit. And we see this throughout all a lot of ethnic groups in Africa, according to their way of life or their tradition, their culture, or their African tradition, or their African spiritual systems. They, uh, you cannot be honored or you cannot be an ancestor if you wasn't an elder. So, according to the things that you did in your community, in your society, to your tribe, if you set the right example, if you hold steadfast to your morals and your principles and other things that may consist in your tribe or your clan or your community, then you can be raised as an ancestor. You can be honored as an ancestor. Uh, Man was while alive upon his departure could become an Inchi or a Nana Mual, a hollow ancestor spirit. Ancestor spirits are more commonly known by a collective term in the Inchi. A respected living elder can therefore be called an Inchi. and living saint. And we talked about the different stages of life in the last presentation that I did. We talked about the elders and how to become an elder. Got a whole presentation on that, but we talked about that again and presentation. I don't know which presentation it was I did last week. Don't even remember. And we're gonna get more into ancestors next week. A respected living elder can be therefore be called an inchi, a living saint. The inchi is also used as a group of accomplished and distinguished elders who uphold the morals of the society, dispense unquestionable justice, and preserve the culture of the community. Indiichi is also used for a group of accomplished and distinguished elders who uphold the morals of the society, dispense unquestionable justice, and preserve the culture of the community. So these are some of the things that it takes in order to be raised as an ancestor or be honored as an ancestor, and also in some cultures to be named after an ancestor. Ua is our world, or the so-called Mother Nature compared with the Hasa Ua Mother. This is the world we live in, the visible universe that directly impacts our life. Ua is made up of two distinct parts, the Igwi and the Allah. The Allah is the feminine aspect. We're going to get into that. She will be considered Mother Nature, uh, Mother Earth, and etc. Here is Allah, the Earth Mother, by the Igbo. This means the Allah is just a drawing of a. We know that again the Arushis are nothing but forces of natures that they anthropomorphize into, human beings. And for a better understanding of that, you can check out. Man, I can't even think of that. I did two parts on the understanding of uh and I can't even I had to come back to the name of it. I've done so many I can't even think of the name of it where I break down why they came up with these spiritual systems do questions and things that was happening in nature and etc. Here is another. This is Allah shrine here in Igbo land. She has a shrine which is erected to her. Now let's get it. And again, Chukwu or Chi Inki has a feminine principle and a masculine principle. Ala meaning earth or land in Igbo, also Ajani is the feminine earth spirit who is responsible for morality, fertility, and the dead ancestors who are stored in the underworld in her womb. Allah is the head of the Igbo pantheon, maintaining order and carrying out justice against wrongdoers. Allah is the most prominent and the worship of Lucy. Almost every Igbo village has a shrine dedicated to her called Ihu Allah, where major decisions are taken. And again, this is one of the shrines in the Igbo land that they have erected of Allah. Also, it is believed to be involved in all aspects of human affairs, including the festivals and offerings. Allah stands fertility and things that generate life, including water, stones, and vegetation. Coloring, agua, beauty, Imma is also connected to the goodness of Igbo societies and the uniqueness of Afa. She's a symbol of morality who sanctions Ominala Igbo customs from which these morals and ethic behaviors are upheld in the Igbo society. Justice, Ofo and Ogu, is a law of retribution justice. It vindicates anyone that is wrongly accused of a crime as long as their hands are clean. It is only a person who is on the righteous side of the Agwo Na Ofo that can call its name in prayer. Otherwise, such a person will face the wrath of Ah and I woo Amadaho Adamaho, and I may be pronouncing that wrong. And again, excuse me for the mispronunciation of these words. And I posted some information about our Madiho a while back, and his attributes are similar uh, to the Orisha Shango. You'll see why I say that. The god of thunder and lightning. Kola nuts is used in a ceremony to honor Chukwu, Chi, Arusha. And we're going to get more into Adamato, who is one of the Arushis and has the same attributes or is the deity of thunder and lightning like Shango and the Ifa traditions. Kola nuts is used in ceremonies honoring Chukwu, Chi, Arushis, and the ancestors. Is used as a method of professing innocence when coupled with libations. People who commit suicides are not buried in the ground or given burial rites, but casted away in order not to further offend and pollute the land. You see this in a lot, not all, but you see this in a lot of uh, um, the customs or the in other ethnic groups. You see this in other ethnic groups where if someone commits suicide, they cannot be buried in the ground. And if so, it could pollute their land, their abilities to become ancestors, and therefore nullify. So this is another. Also, if you kill yourself or commit suicide, this opts you out from being venerated as an ancestor or being honored as an ancestor or being named after uh, and so forth. When an individual dies a bad death in a society such from an effect of divine retribution, justice, or breaking a taboo, they are not buried in the earth, but are discarded in the forest so as not to offend Allah. As in case of most elusives, Allah is ability to be malevolent and proceed to be offended and can cause harm against those who offend her. This is Amadaha. And again, excuse me for the mispronunciation. This is one of the Arushis that deal with their justice uh, scale as well. And again, his attributes, he has the same attributes. He is a deity of thunder and lightning, as you see in the Yoruba tradition when they deal with Ifa. Him and Shango have the same attributes. All right. Mahada from Amada Oha, and I guess that's Omada Oha, free will of the people in Igbo. It is the elusive of justice, thunder, lightning, and the sky. He is referred to as Omada Oha in southern Igbo land, Kamula, Kamunu, Kalu among the Ara and other cross river Igbo people. That's why I told you they're broke down into 5 substructures, and I gave you east, west, north, south, and etc. because they may be pronounced a little bit different. Some deities may be venerated more than other deities in Igbo land, which is divided into these 5 substructures. Um, uh, Equally among the Usama Igbo and other northwestern Igbo lands, and Ofufu is certain parts of Igbo land. His governing planet is the sun. His color is red, the same as Shango. His symbol is a white ram. Metaphysical Amada Oha represent a collected will of the people, and he is often associated with Ayahu, Awu, which is the sun deity, which is a female. He is expressions of the divine justice and wrath against taboo and crimes. An oath he is sworn by to strike down those who swear falsely with thunder and lightning. Amada Oha shrine exists around Igbo land. His main shrine is located in Azuzu in the Ravine Igbo region in northern river states, while Yahuhu is more prominent in northern Igbo. Mahalu is more prominent in the south. His days of Afu, which is the second market day in Imbara house, Mahalu is depicted beside Allah or his consort. The cosmology. The community visible interaction beings of the cosmos is referred to as Uwu, which includes all living things, Ihi, Nidi, Di, Nudu, including animals and vegetations and their mineral elements which possess a vital force and are regarded as counterparts to invisible forces in the spirit world. These living things are geomorphological features of the world, therefore possess a guardian deity. Igbo cosmology presents a balance between feminine and three masculine, perhaps with the predominance of female representations in the Igbo lore. In Igbo cosmology, the world was divided into four corners by the high god corresponding to Ike, Ore, Ofo, Nikuwu, which are the days of the week in the Igbo calendar, regarding as the market days. The universe is regarded as a composition of bounded space and as an overlapping hemispheric structure. The total space are referred to as Ulu na Ala. And one Igbo cosmology theory reported by W.R.G. Morton in the 1950s from an elder in the Igbawa Nik of northern Igbo land, Chukwu sees that the sun travels across the world in the daytime and then cuts into the two in order for the moon to pass a perpendicular route. And so the world is divided into four parts and 4 days. The quarter division of the earth and the days make the number four sacred, Noso. To the Igbo, the Ilo da Allah space is defined by two boundaries. Ilo Igwe, which is the sky limit, composed of the heavenly bodies under the main forces of the masculine sun and the feminine moon, Ilo Allah, earth, or the land's limit, consisting of four mineral elements: fire and air, which is masculine, earth, and shallow waters, which is feminine. Reincarnation, according to the tradition of the Igbo or Odinani, which we see this a lot in a lot of ethnic groups uh, all over Africa, not just in West Africa. The Igbo have traditional beliefs in reincarnation. Ilo Uwu. People believe to reincarnate into families that were part of while alive. And most of ethnic groups, and again, I'm saying most, I'm not saying all, I'm saying most, when you the systems of their way of life or their ATRs dealing with reincarnation, you are reincarnated into the bloodline that you come from the family that you come from. You won't be reincarnated. I wouldn't be, according to the Igbo traditions, Odinani, I wouldn't be reincarnated into one of my brothers on the panel's family bloodline because I didn't come from that bloodline. I only be reincarnated into my family, so I will come back into my own family's bloodline that they were part of while alive. And again, I'm saying most, I'm not saying all, because dealing in South Africa, dealing with the Zulu people, there are different. You know what I'm saying? Especially far as coming back as a family man, you may come back. You know, in some other, I know with the Hindu culture, Toll, Rock, etc., and in the Zulu culture, the same similarities as well in South Africa. That's why I'm saying most, not all, reincarnating into families that were part of while alive. People can usually reincarnate 7 times, given 7 opportunities to enter the spirit world successfully as an ancestor. The person cycle numbers on Earth is unknown to them. Humans can only reincarnate as humans, according to the Igbo culture in Odinani and some ethnic groups. Not all, but in some. Families hire fortune tellers to reveal the ancestor's identity of a child in the former life. The baby is sometimes named after this relative. The personality of the ancestor is not identical to the child, but rather the concept established as a vital relationship with a child, a characteristic of the ancestor. This is why I say they can be named after someone who has transitioned and went into the ancestral realm or went into the Gungun world. They can be named after the ancestor. Before a relative dies, it is said that it's assumed to be deceased relative sometimes gives clues of whom they will reincarnate as in the family. Once a child is born, he or she is believed to have signs of who they have reincarnated from. And a lot in the other traditions, when a child is born, they go through the priest or the diviner to give a reading to see who is this person, which ancestor has come back, which ancestors have reincarnated. Hey, hey, Sean, if you want here, do me a favor. Um, this guy here, Empire Wallace. Hey, boot him off of here. Um, boot him off of here. I don't know who this dude is. I don't know what made me look down on here, cause I don't.
And the presentation, bro. I got you. Go
No,
ahead.
boot dude off here. I mean, he can stay on when you do a presentation. I don't like you go on the other platforms for that. Like you go on the other platforms. The other platforms they deal with the cussing and assaulting each other and talking about each other. But over here we don't do that over here. So boot him off of here, man. Boot him off here. If you not bringing forth peace into the chat, bro. If you not demonstrating good character, bro, you don't belong over here on this channel. Boot him off of here, man. Or do I need to stop and boot him off? So we don't use the word nigga over here with all this other. Boot him off of here, man. Right there, Empire Wallace, right there, right there. Sean, he I don't know where he from, but Sean deleting all his comments now. Yeah, boot his ass. Don't block his ass. Excuse me, block him. I hate foolishness. Like I'm saying, go somewhere else with that, brother. Go
Kofi.
somewhere else with that.
Kofi. Kofi.
What's up, man?
And get back to the presentation, dude. This when you block somebody, remove all their comments anyway. So
Okay.
yeah, just man, forget all that. You just taking away you was just building and then just digress.
And I don't know. Some told me to look. And I looked over there.
Listen, man, just go in, man. Let people make a
Yeah.
fool of themselves.
A diviner can help in detecting who the child has reincarnated from. It is considered an insult if a male is said to have reincarnated as a female. An ancestor may reincarnate as a multiple people, in which case shares a mortal bond. Upon the death of one person, it is believed that the others may die a sudden death if they see the corpse. Banji. An Akbanji is a reincarnated evil spirit that would deliberately plague a family with misfortune. Okay, this is according to the folklore of the Igbo. In folklore, the Akbanji, upon being born by the mother under a certain amount of time, usually before puberty, would deliberately die and then come back and repeat the cycle, causing the family grief. This time period varies between minutes, hours, days, and years. Female circumcisions were sometimes thought, ooh, I know they hate to hear that word, female circumcision, was sometimes thought to get rid of the
Kofi, Kofi,
evil
Kofi,
spirits,
Kofi, Kofi, Kofi,
where
Kofi,
finding the evil spirits
Kofi. No, it's not. It's Kofi. Kofi,
Iya
Kofi,
Uwa,
Kofi,
which
Kofi,
they have dug somewhere secretly to plague the family with missing female
Kofi.
circumcision. The presentation
You
why people
breaking
did.
up?
Yeah, yeah,
You breaking up?
yeah.
You was
You can't
breaking
hear me?
up.
Hold on. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, my battery. Okay, that had something to do with my battery. That battery thing popped up on there. But
Okay.
where did I break up at? Where did I need to? I need to go back and start over right here
Yeah.
on this
Yes.
slide.
Yes. Yes. Go back.
All right. Sorry about that. I broke up my computer technical difficulties. But anyway, going back, I'll repeat the slide. The Agbaji. The Agbaji is a reincarnating evil spirit that will deliberately plague a family with misfortune. And this is according to the Igbo folklore. In the folklore, the Agbaji, upon being born by the mother under a certain amount of time, usually before puberty, will deliberately die and then come back and repeat the cycle, causing the family grief. This time period varies between minutes, hours, days, and years. Female circumcision was sometimes thought to get rid of the evil spirit. So, according to the Igbo, the only reason, well, one of the reasons why they did female circumcision was they thought it would get rid of the evil spirit uh, that would plague mothers and babies being born and dying and then repeating, getting born. I mean, and keep repeating the cycle. The woman having another child and a child dying, which is continuing uh, grief. So, according to their tradition, this is why they would have female circumcision. Other traditions, if you go to the Dogon people, the female circumcision is different from that. It's because they believe that uh I ain't even finna get into that. If you want more information on that, just stroll down once you leave here in the archives. We got a whole presentation on female circumcision and etc. But according to them, this is why they do it in their culture. Iya Uwa, which they have dug somewhere secret, would ensure that Agjabi would never plague the family with misfortune again. The Iya Uwo is a stone that the Ag Baji way of coming back to the world and also a way of finding its target family. So here is what they're talking about. This spirit stone that they will bury. This is something that they will use and bury in order to prevent the Agbaji, this evil spirit, from coming back and plaguing grief on the family while a child is coming back over and over and being born and dying. She's getting pregnant, being born and dying, and keep causing the family grief. The Iya Uwa, Iya Uwa. This is a spirit stone that the slide was talking about that they would bury. The stone is deep enough to not have been planted physically by a child. The Iya Uwa is dug out by a priest and destroyed. Furthermore, female Agbaji dies during the pregnancy along with the baby. Male Agbaji dies before the birth of a wife baby or the baby dies. The child is confirmed to no longer be Agbaji after the destruction of the stone or after the successful giving birth to another. The Igwusi, the Alusi was adapted to bargain and trade, and praying to the Igwusi uh, was said to guarantee victory and negotiations. As a force of change and chaos, the Igwusi also represents the spirit of war among the Igbo, evoking during the time of conflict and banishing during peacetime to avoid the influence, inciting bloodshed in the community. Warriors set up a shrine to Awusi to help war's effect. So this Alusi will be erected to the Igbo warriors when they got ready to go to war or go to battle. The Dabble are a mystic meditator between the human world and the spirit world and act as a healer, a scribe, and a teacher, diviners, and an advisor of people in the community. They are usually consulted as a shrine of the community majors, deities. Daba is compound of the word die, professional, master, husband, oba, obi, uh, doctorate, science. The obi is believed to be destined for spiritual work. The Daobi sees the spiritual world at any time and enters what messages being sent and sees spiritual problems of the living people. They are given the power by the spirit world to identify any elusive by name and possible ways of placating and negotiating with the deities. You see uh, this person in a lot of the African cultures, diviners, priests, etc., where they are able to communicate through forms of what they call divination. The Da'aba are thought to be revealed to possess the power over one of the three elements, namely waters, are large bodies of water, fire, and vegetation. The Diaba, whose elements and vegetations can go to become herbalists by their supposed instinctual knowledge of health benefits and certain plants, they are institutional drawn to fire elements. The Diaba Diobe can handle fire unscratched during their initiations, and water elements the Diobe do not draw. The Diobe can partially enter the spirit world and communicate this by rubbing chalk on one half of their face. The Diobe and Obi practice were transported to British Caribbean during the slave trade and became known as the Obi. And for more information about the culture, uh, the Obi culture, you can go to stroll down on here, brother. Benjamin Njai, aka Black Panther, has a whole presentation on the Obi tradition, and there will be no Obi tradition without the Igbo tradition, the Odinani, those people who was transported or kidnapped and went into the Caribbeans that went into those islands. The same that I gave you with a presentation not too long ago. If you hadn't checked it out, go check it out. It's called the Winti presentation over there in the island. Without the Akum spiritual system out of West Africa and Ghana by the Akan people, the U people, there will be no such thing as a Winti spiritual system. And these are the people from Ghana, are the Akong people in that region who was kidnapped and took into those islands that reserved their way of life. The name of the divination in the Igbo derived from the Igba Afa or Aha, meaning the name coming from the diviner skill in rooting out problems, hence naming them. The Da'aubi or the Akba uh, Alpha, interpreted as Alpha, is considered the master of esoteric knowledge and wisdom of the Igbo Alpha. It is a way in which people can find out and call such things in misfortune. Diviner interprets codes from the Ola Ma'ua and unseen by throwing the divination seeds, Kori, which we see a lot, Kori shells, or beads, or observed in divination. It didn't say throwing stones, rocks. You always see beads or stone, or observing divination boards, sometimes called the Oshe, which can be used to pronounce curses on the evil. Ancestor veneration, according to the Odinani system of the Igbo. The Indibuzi or Indichi are the deceased ancestors who are considered to be in the spirit world, a la immoral. In Odinani, it is believed that the dead ancestors are invisible members of the community. Their roles in the community is conjunction with Ela is to protect the community from epidemics and stripes such as famine and smallpox. Ancestors help Chi look after men. Shrines for the ancestors in Igbo societies was made in the central house or the obi or the obu of the patriotic of the housing compound. Patriarchal heads of the household is in charge of venerating the patriarchal ancestor through libations and offering through this life living maintain contact with the dead. Only a patriotic whose father is dead and therefore in the spirit world where they await reincarnation into the community, we able to venerate ancestors. Female ancestors are called upon as matriarchs. At the funerals, a man's father, there is a hierarchy in Igbo cultures of animals that will be killed and eaten in honor. Usually, and we see this through African culture. Um, and we talked about this on what is the funerals. According to Africa, what is funerals and burials? That was the presentation that I did that I briefly talked about transitioning from an elder into an ancestor when we did them with the funeral rites and a burial rites. So we just only deal with those ceremonies of funerals and burials. If you missed that presentation, go back and look at it. And I got a part two to that, which is called ancestors. So we're gonna go into the next stage uh, from elders, then death, and then ancestors. Um, and doing that process, those funeral rites or those different ceremonies surrounding the death of certain animals. I show that certain animals that they use, goats, uh, hens, uh, chickens, ox, and etc. These are certain animals that they use to sacrifice, and as they kill and sacrifice the animals, the family cook and eat the meat of the sacrifice. Usually, this depends on a rarity of price in animals. So, a goat or a sheep were common and related cheaper, and therefore carried less prestige. While a cow, and you see this all over Africa, when if you got a lot of cows, you are wealthy. You are wealthy. You know what I'm saying? If your family owns a lot of cows, you are wealthy. And a lot of when you're dealing with the marriage, dealing with the endowment, you know, uh, you have to pay the other family in order to marry the daughter. So a lot of them is paid with cows. But cows, you are rich if you got cows. Considered a great honor. I mean, and I've seen this. I looked at study things in East Africa. I studied things in South Africa, West Africa, Central Africa. Cows is if you got cows, especially in East Africa, if you got cows, you the man, you the woman. A horse and the most exceptional. Horses cannot be given for women. The number of people practicing Igbo religion have decreased dramatically in the 20th century with the influx of Christian missionaries on the office of the British colonial government in Nigeria. In some cases, Igbo traditional religion synchronizes with Christianity, and we see that a lot. But in many cases, indigenous rights were demonized by Christian missionaries who pointed out the practice and sacrifice and other cultural practices that were illegal under the colonial government. Early missionaries referred to many indigenous religious practice as juju. So we know that a lot of the Christian missionaries, went into these particular places in Africa and told them that their way of life was demonic and their way of life was the right way of life. And then you had a lot of these people come in and colonize and take over these land masses and then ban those people that live there damn near all their lives, ban their way of life and tell them that they have to follow their way of life. So this is why you see a lot of the Igbo people that are Christians. You see a lot of Igbo people that say they are Jews and Hebrews. I talked about those earlier. This is the original, this is the traditional way of life of the Igbos, which is called Odinani. So there are many different scholars again that says that the Igbos were Hebrews or Jews who came out of North Africa or Egypt and migrated into Nigeria. You have other places say scholars said that the Igbo people have always been in Nigeria. You have other scholars, uh, writers say that the Igbo people come from another place that I can't remember. I think the Kawi people, I can't remember where they was from, that their language resembles the Proto-Kawa religion. Language. So, I mean, it's so many different things, but this is the traditional religion, or way of life, or the way of the ancestors, whatever you want to encompass it or call it, the African spirituality, whatever you want to call it. But this was their tradition, their culture, and it was called Odinani. you know so this is that was my last slide. I hope this presentation was very informative. I hope I was able to break down and explain the Igbo cultures, and now and show you that there are Igbo land. They're broke down into five different subcultures. Some cultures uh, in Igbo land, whether it's Eastern Igbo, Southeast Igbo, West Igbo, North Igbo land, or etc. Some venerate some Lucis more than others. Um, so I just hope it was informative. Chukwu is also called Chi Inki. Chi Inki is also a personal deity who is assigned to you and assigned to your destiny. Uh, gave you some of the Rusis. I could have gave you more, but I gave you Allah, which is the feminine aspect of Chukwu or Chi Inki, who could be considered the mother nature, mother earth, mother goddess, whatever. Um, gave you Amadi Oha, who is attributes are similar uh, to the Orisha Shango of thunder and lightning. He has the same attribute, but he has the attribute of justice, and etc. Uh, um, like I said, I could have gave you more Rusis, but I just gave you those two. The minor deities up under those lesser Rusis are the Imua, which are are deceased ancestors, or the spirit of the ancestor, those who have transitioned and went into the ancestral world. And I just wanted to give you some other things for us dealing with the structure of justice and other spirits according to the tradition of the Igbo. So I hope this presentation was very informative. Uh, I'm looking in the chat to see if anybody got any questions in the chat. Y'all got anything that's on the panel?
I did see one question from the chat. It said, "Why are cows important?"
Uh, Brother, I don't know why cows are so important in most African culture. I know that most of what I read that cows, uh, if you got cows, you know what I'm saying, you are considered rich. You know what I'm saying. There's different uh, you know things that they use to pay people. They use cowrie shells was a currency, cows was a currency, goats was a currency, uh um bees was a currency. You had so many different things were used as currency, and I just know reading and even when I deal with looking at different ethnic groups when they deal with the marriage aspect, they have to pay a dowry. So a lot of them is paying in cows, and some people can't even get married until they able to acquire some of the cows to pay an endowment in order to be married. And even in some ethnic groups, you have to pay in order to be initiated in certain things. So some people are in limbo far as the demarcation stages that they have to go through until their family are able to acquire some of these cows to pay. I just know cows are very important, and you was considered the man or the woman if you got these cows. But I can do a little bit more. I'll dig and do a little bit more research to
It,
see why
I
it
think
why it's so important.
it's also going to vary amongst different tribes and groups of people, but you have to look at it through the longevity of human history and how that could play such a vital role in sustaining life, from milk to the skins of it to bones to meat, um, keeping a pastoral aspect of it, them helping graze land. uh,
Hmm. Yeah,
what is
yeah,
it called? What's it called? Using it as a plow. That there's going to
yeah.
be it's going to be different aspects of its importance to different groups of people. So I don't
Right,
think that's
right.
something that can be answered in just one question. What I think is
Hmm.
ironic is just yesterday when you had that "I don't know why cowboy" statement was on there, um, and it falls right back into this conversation of we've always had a relationship with herding cattle.
Hmm.
I forgot what group of people it is, but there's the Zanga, Sanga, and the ZU Zebu cows. Y'all may want to look into those two in particular cows and see if there's any information that may help that question,
Yeah.
because those
Hmm.
are indigenous to I want to say in Uganda, but that's real important to their culture. Those two
Hmm.
particular cows.
Right, right, right. And appreciate that on CT and brother. You got to bear with me with these names. I'm not good with pronouncing these names. I'm trying to get better and better, and I believe I am. Go ahead, somebody else, huh?
Yeah, man, I got something to say, man, real quick, man. Don't you ever let nobody in the chat mess up your bill, man. We was going in, then you paused the whole show for this old monkey, man. I was driving, I was gonna handle that.
All right, man. I just got
Messing up
heated.
this good educational show because you want to fool with the tomfoolery. Man,
Yeah,
I'm out here. I'm out here looking at my lot where my new house gonna be built at, and then I got to deal with you and this dude. And, you know, we ain't never seen him before, Kofi.
yeah. We ain't never seen. That's the first time seeing him. So maybe he didn't. We should have gave him a chance. I should have gave him a chance because
You
he
ain't
don't
want
know.
to give
We
him
don't
no chance.
play that. I ain't like that, man.
Now you had an
We should know.
attitude. The brother in the chat was trying to help you with the pronunciation. You snapped at him. You just snapped.
No, I didn't.
Oh, what's wrong with you, man? You in the snapping mood, man.
Maybe
Now all
because
of a
I'm
sudden you
tired.
want to snap.
I'm tired, man.
Yeah,
I'm
okay, you
tired.
tired. Get some sleep then.
I am. But yeah, appreciate Osita and you can put it in there, brother, if I'm mispronouncing your name wrong, man. But appreciate that's the brother that was I guess was trying to correct me with this misspelling while I mean not the pronunciation. But he just answered the question for me. One of the brothers asked what do they
Hey
speak?
man, hold on, Kofi, hold on. Sutek, where you been at, man? We sending you messages. We looking for you. We can't find you. Then we see you in the chat.
I thought he had done passed and went into the ancestral realm or something. I ain't heard from him in 3 weeks.
So
Yeah, I thought
that
yeah,
household, that house. One, two.
yeah. But these are my references right here. I'm gonna keep it paused for a minute. I don't mind you going through my reference, scrutinizing my references. That's why we always put references up here or sources up here, and we keep it paused so you can jot them down or go back later on in the archives and jot them down and do your own further research and etc. On the subject matter at hand that we're talking about on this particular day. But again, these are my sources here. I think there are some pretty good sources here. I try to find the best sources as I can as possible, and even ordered a book uh, dealing with the subject matter and found three great PDFs by those who actually are practitioners of the tradition and those who are in West Africa. All right. This is a presentation that's coming up today, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. We have two presentations today. We had one yesterday. Why white folks got so I don't know whatever how white folks got so rich. Part one of five presentations, and we'll be hitting you with those every week. So if you didn't check that one out, it's a small piece of information that I put out yesterday on Kofi Piesie TV. If you missed it, it's in the archive. Please go check that out. But we have something today on Kofi Piesie TV by my brother Satepa Ra, who will be presenting. I don't know if he's still on here. If you're still on here, man, you can tell the folks real quick what's going down at 6 p.m. And we also have another show following right after his presentation. It is the Black family discussion. So we're gonna have a Black family discussion, and then later on in time, my brother gonna come back. Vasa Nicolo gonna come back and do the the Black family presentation on Kofi Piesie TV. You still on here, Satep? He might be gone.
No, I'm on here. I'm on here.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be doing a presentation on this brother right here. His name is his name is Ibram Petrov Ganable, and yeah, he was captured during the Arab slave trade. So he is actually a victim of the Arab slave trade. I know we don't talk about that too much. We talk about how the European done us, but the Arab had a hand in slavery as well, and he rose to prominence over there in Russia. So yeah, I'll be going over this. It ain't a long presentation. It's just a quick information for y'all to get excuse me, some quick information for y'all to get a hold of, and just find out about one of our brothers that was captured during the slave trade and rose to prominence over there in Russia. So yeah, be looking forward for this later.
All right. And bro, Vasa, you want to touch real quick on the Black family discussion? Right out following right out. We going After this show, after Satep and Rob presentation, we'll end the show, and then we're gonna leave. We're gonna leave the show, and I'm gonna restart another show, and we're gonna come back. It's gonna be a different show. It's gonna be called the Black Family Discussion. May send the link out if anybody want to join the panel and have discuss. I think we need this discussion need to be talked about before we talk about anything else. This discussion need to be talked about. So I may put the link in the chat later on, and if anybody want to jump in the panel and have a discussion with as we discuss these things, you can. But you can touch on it real quick if you want to, boss.
No, I think that's very much needed to put the link out, since we don't have the a telephone set up to where people can just call in and chime in. I have to make a quick run. Do y'all have a estimated time on what time y'all want to jump start each program? It won't take
I
me
don't
that
know. We
long,
go.
but I need like maybe 30, 40 minutes, and then I'll be back
Oh
at the
yeah, you
house.
good, man.
Okay.
It's 3:22. The other show ain't gonna start till 6.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. So be on the lookout again at 6 p.m. Kofi Paisa TV. If you hadn't subscribed, please go and subscribe. Brother Satepera Miriamin will be doing the presentation on his brother here. If you missed the presentation I did yesterday, part one of 5 presentations, how white folks got so rich, well, I'll be breaking down how they use white supremacy to acquire or obtain their wealth and the underhanded tricks and maneuvering that they did in order to keep us in the position that we are in still to this day, which is 5 parts. So go check out part one. Small presentation. All of them are going to be small. A lot of this stuff is not taught in schools. A lot of this stuff you don't see in the school textbooks, the college textbooks, etc. So check that out. Check this out on Kofi Paisa TV today at 6 p.m. And then following right after this presentation, we'll be joining doing another presentation, my presentation, but a discussion, a show called Black Family Discussion. All right. Please go subscribe to these channels. Y'all know the drill. This I have to do this. Please go subscribe to the Session Mani Metanetra group. We are a group of like-minded individuals who are aspiring to be true scribes. We are studying the writing script, which is called the running Kemet, and the language, which is called the Running Kemet, and the writing script, which is called the Sesh Metanetra, or what you may know as the hieroglyph. Please go check us out on Facebook. It is also Seshima Adi Metanetra on Facebook. Also, go check us out on our webpage, www.seshumaadimetanetra.com, where you can sign up for the class if you want to learn the Sesh Metanetra, and also purchase the textbook for the class, which is called the Beginner's Course. So if you just want to purchase the textbook and learn on your own. Also, purchased the penmanship book by Emicat, who's also a member of the Seshuma Ani Metanetra. If you want to learn how to write the sesh, also purchased the rebuttal book to Walter Williams. Has a Metanetter been deciphered? A book that we did in 2007 as a collective, uh, surrounding the 2016 debate that supposed to took place. Um, Also, go subscribe to Kofi Paisa TV, the channel that takes the black man, the black woman, the child, Eurocentric mind, and Africanize it. Whatever you want to know about African culture, traditions, or even African American cultures, traditions, or history, log on to Kofi Paisa TV. Please subscribe and hit the notification bell. Please support this channel as well. And we'll see y'all at 6 p.m. Uh, for the next presentation on Kofi Paisa TV. Uh, Please go subscribe to the Monster Warrior Clan channel. If you hadn't, it's your first time. I see a lot of people on here that I hadn't particularly seen before. Please, as you stop by, please hit the like button. Please hit the notification bell. Um, and go check us out on Facebook as well. We got a like page, the Monster Warrior Clan like page with lots of African history in East Africa, South Africa, North Africa, Central Africa. Uh, so please like that page and read, and please tell a friend and tell a friend and tell a friend and tell a friend about these channels. Please support us, support us, support us, support us, support us, support us, support us. That's all I have. We'll see y'all at 6 p.m. Appreciate the love, appreciate the support, And for the first people that first coming on this platform is not like other platforms. This platform, you can get on any other platforms and you can get on there and disrespect the presenter. You can get on there and disrespect other people that support the presenter. You can disrespect the platform. You can uh try to inflate your ego by making yourself look better than everybody else in the chat or even the present or whatever the case may be. There's many platforms for that. This is not the platform. That's why I always say Fatmu Alafie, Fatmu Iwa Pele. That means bring forth peace, bring forth good character. So on this platform, we're gonna continue to do that. We're gonna act like it. We're gonna say we're African centered. We're gonna act like Africans. We're gonna act in good and moral character, good and moral fiber, good and moral standing. So all that other foolishness, you can take that to another platform. You're more than welcome to come over here, but when you come over here, you're gonna be respectful to the presenter. If it's me, if it's any Haret, you're gonna give him the same respect. If it's Benjamin Njai, you're gonna give him the same respect. And one of our new members who will be presenting soon, you will give him the same respect. You're gonna get the people that's been supporting us. Every Sunday or even on Saturdays. Now we going on Saturdays and Sundays, but mostly on Sundays. That's our supporters. You're gonna give them the same respect. You're not gonna be in here cussing them out, acting a fool or anything. You will get booted off of here. You will get blocked. I'm out. And before I go, I get to leave y'all with this. Black African power, family.
History is a clock that people use to tell their political and cultural time of day. It is also a compass that people use to find themselves on the map of human geography. History tells of people where they have been, what they have been, where they are, and what they are. I ain't talking about no gangster. I'm hollering at the soldier. Revolutionary culture. Bang on